guys, it's Q&A time. A lot of you guys dropped questions on my Instagram yesterday. I hand selected a bunch of them and we're gonna run through some answers. I get asked all the time, how do you get into racing? And you need a helmet and you need a car, preferably one with an engine in it, and that's, safe to drive. But you need healthy tires, good brake pads, and you need to put DOT4 brake fluid in your car so that it doesn't boil. And then you sign up for a track day with NASA or the SCCA at your local racetrack, and they're going to give you an instructor and you're going to take your car out on the racetrack. It's pretty much that simple. The problem is it's really addicting and it can really quickly end up being like this, where your entire life revolves around it. So be careful, you've been warned. One of the other questions we had was why the RB25 over the RB26? The honest answer is because this is what we had available to us. After the RB20 had the water pump fail, I got a little carried away tearing the engine down and decided I was going to do an engine build, which we're still planning on doing. But in the meantime, I wanted to get the car running, so I found this RB25 and dropped it in. It was kind of a junkyard motor situation. We had no idea how it was going to handle or if it was going to even make compression, which it actually had bad compression in cylinder 6 at first, but it seems like maybe it just had stuck rings because it has been good ever since and totally ready to party. So we got kind of lucky. The RB26s, it's not a huge difference between them, but they are a little bit harder to find. They're more expensive, and I didn't need any of the all-wheel drive stuff, so it just didn't seem worth it. I did get another question about the ISR performance intake manifold and how difficult it is to install. All of these forward-facing intakes take a little bit of custom fabrication because obviously the factory intercooler piping doesn't pass through in the same spot. The bolts on the bottom can be super painful to get to on all of these manifolds, but this manifold isn't any more difficult or any less difficult than any of them to install from what I've seen. And it's pretty straightforward once you get to it. There's just some spots that are just difficult to get to. Another question, I've been dreading this one. Why the eBay fender flares? So I hate these things. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, they fit okay, but I hate the way they look. The end game goal was to do GTR quarter panels, but you have to cut them out and weld them in because this entire piece of the car is one whole piece. It's not something that's super easy to do. And we wanted to do it right, so we didn't just want to like cut them and bolt them on. So we decided to stick with the GTST fenders for now, but unfortunately the time attack class that we were running this car in requires no tread to be visible from above, and as you guys can see, these 285s that we have on the rear of this car poke quite a bit outside of the fenders. So in order for the car to be legal in class and maximize grip with the rear end, we kind of had to make a sacrifice for aesthetics. I'm not a fan of it, so it's kind of one of those things that you just do, function over form situation, but it doesn't look terrible, but end game is still to do GTR quarter panels, so bear with me, guys. Another question that I get asked a bunch is, how do you keep water out of the trunk from our beautiful big wing? And we have put in some rubber weather stripping in here. It's going to be kind of hard to see without opening the trunk all the way, but you can see it there. It actually does a really good job. The car is so dirty because I drove it in the rain earlier today actually, and there's no water in the trunk as you guys can see, so it works pretty well. There's nothing in the trunk other than the battery, and everything's covered anyway, so it hasn't been a huge deal. But yeah, I think a couple of the other questions we maybe got were about brake pads. We had someone asking what brake pads I recommend on a street car. We run G-Lock brake pads on everything, the race cars, street cars. Someone had asked, when are you gonna drift this thing? Man, I don't know. I signed up for like 3 drift days in a row and they all got canceled. So it's gonna be a while before I get to drift the car, unfortunately. But we're really looking forward to when that happens. And I know everyone is going a little bit stir crazy in this quarantine, so I'm just trying to stay focused and enjoying the car for what it is right now, which is a street car, and it's a lot of fun, so I can't really complain, but I am absolutely dying to get it on track too. Somebody had asked, how do you import an R32? Where did you find this car? I found it at auction in Japan online, so it was one of those things you just kind of stay up all night because the time zones are completely different, and you just keep an eye out, and when you see a car, you kind of just, if you feel like it's right, you got to pull the trigger. And we did on this car, and I'm really glad that we did. Our budget was pretty low, a lot lower than a lot of you guys would have expected. and we pretty much decided that, you know, this was hopefully going to be the right car. We were told that it wasn't running very well at the docks before it got on the container, which was really scary. And then it got here and it really wasn't running well. It had a lot of electrical issues, but ultimately the engine was healthy. It had never been in a wreck. It had no flood damage, no rust, and the interior was in good shape, which was one of those things that we were really particular about, because that's something that I can't fix without spending a lot of money anyway. So rust and the interior were two things that we were like, that needs to be good, the rest we can fix. So yeah, it had a lot of electrical issues at first, but you know, wasn't anything we couldn't figure out. All right, so everybody wants to know what engine is going in the Z next. We're still not ready to share that information. I know you guys are being really patient. Trust me, I am too. I'm absolutely dying to share this with you because it's really exciting. A related question was, do you ever plan to do hill climbs? And I can say that yes, that has always been the end goal for this build, was to do Pikes Peak. And that's something that you guys might see from us sooner than you think, maybe. So we'll see. This rebuild, we're definitely taking it all into consideration, and we're gonna take our time and really step up our game with aero, with performance. We need to work a lot on the mechanical grip of this car, so that's something that we're gonna spend a lot of time working with. Unfortunately, that requires a lot of money and a lot of time, but we're gonna see it through, and I'm really excited for the next iteration of this build. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. So Kevin is making me measure myself. I think I'm like 5'10", so we'll see. What's the verdict, Kevin?
Given the hat, I'll call it 5'10".
All right, there you guys have it, 5'10". So that's
in Vans.
In Vans, yeah. Would you guys like me to take my Vans off?
No. I would, because then you're the same height as me.
It's like their platform shoes. We're wearing Tom Cruise shoes over here.
5'9.5", we'll call it that.
Okay, fair. So a lot of you guys know, I actually found motorsports. I'm not getting shoes back on and holding this at the same time. I don't know what I'm doing. I got into motorsports because of my modeling career. I started out fashion modeling in California, where I grew up, and it kind of snowballed into eventually working for Monster Energy and Nissan as an umbrella girl, and I was in love with motorsports. So that was something that I just fell in love with. I loved the cars, I loved the scene, and I was like, you know what? I want to be a race car driver. So a lot of you guys are wondering, where are the Apex Garage videos? We're making a lot of videos. I promise you guys. We're going to have a lot coming your way shortly. We've got a lot of work to do to this Miata. Another related question to that was, somebody was asking, what are you going to do when the quarantine is over? And I'm going to race every weekend, I hope. And if I'm not racing, I hope that I'm working at IMSA races and that I'm just at the racetrack nonstop, making up for all this lost time. So I'm excited for the quarantine to be over, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are, or maybe you're enjoying the break, I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited. We have a lot of work to get done before we can even get into any of these race cars. The Skyline is the only one that's ready to party right now. Do you do all of the work yourself, and how did you learn how to do all of this? So no, I don't do everything myself. Kevin and I are a two-man team. We do all of the work to our own cars. The only thing that we don't do is we don't weld and we don't tune. So those are the two things that we rely on somebody else to take care of us, and we've found some people that we really trust and we work with well. So we stick to what we know, but ultimately I learned through trial and error. Before Kevin and I were together and I was just starting out, I worked at a tuning shop in Southern Florida, and I kind of just followed the mechanics and the owner around and bothered them with a lot of stupid questions. Everything that we do, you know, we're still learning, and that's why we do things like tear down engines for fun, to see what's going on and put things together ourselves and take things apart ourselves, is to learn how they work. And that's something that takes long time to master. So by no means are Kevin or I masters of mechanics, but we get by on our own. We can't afford to pay a huge crew of people to come to the racetrack and support us, or to build our cars when we're in the off season. So it's just something that, in order for us to pursue the dream of racing, we had to do ourselves. And I really enjoy it. I've learned to really enjoy the build process, and you know, I kind of sometimes am impressed by what I'm actually able to do when I put my mind to it. Doing the RB25 swap on the Skyline, I did actually tackle most of that myself. It was a huge learning curve, and it was something that I really, you know, at first I was looking at it in the garage going, there's no way. And 4 months into it, I was still going, there's no way. But once it got on the dyno and it made the power that we were looking for on wastegate, we were so happy, and we knew that like the only thing holding it back is the RB20 trans at this point. It sunk in that like, I can do this. And so can any of you guys if you put your mind to it, and you know, you're just willing to make mistakes, and you're willing to lean on other people and do what you have to do to get by. So we love what we do now, and we're looking forward to sharing a lot more content on Apex Garage with you guys during this quarantine. A lot of you know we picked up the Spec MX-5. It showed up in like 1 million boxes, so it's going to be really fun to kind of just tear those boxes apart and go to town. This is literally a rolling chassis right now. It has absolutely nothing done to it other than the roll cage, which was done by Whiting Road Racing. And you know, we're pretty much at this point just have a stock ready to go, like blank canvas, which is really exciting. Everything else that we've built in our lives has been like a street car that like slowly progressed into a race car and like had steps in the build. This is just going from street car to race car. And so that's kind of exciting, and we're looking forward to having it all, you know, laid out and hopefully idiot-proof for us. But if it's not, I'm sure that we'll find the loopholes and we'll expose them for you guys and hopefully get through them with you guys. So
another question that I got asked was, how are you doing since the surgery? I am 4 months post-op, and I'm not completely recovered. There's still some complications from the surgery I won't get into, but ultimately, daily pain, some things are better, some things are worse. My right ovary is still a huge point of contention. We kind of feared that after seeing how bad it was when they opened me up in December. So we're kind of thinking there's probably going to be another surgery coming up this winter. Yay! But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Lucky for me, the worst thing about endo is just the infertility part and the daily pain, but I don't want kids. I got puppies and race cars, so I am perfectly content with what I've got, and ultimately, it's not going to kill me. Unlike this, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Zeus had spindle cell sarcoma on his arm. Yeah, it was pretty nasty. They had to do a skin graft to fix it after they removed it, but he is 2 years cancer-free now, and still kicking and still racing and being the best doggo ever. So, you know, I'm lucky to have him, and it could always be worse. So it's certainly not going to stop me from doing what I love, and, you know, we'll just have to keep dealing with it as it comes.
some of you guys were asking if I had any W's in Warzone yet. The answer is heck yeah, we got a couple of wins. I probably play 2 nights a week or so. You guys were also wanting to know if I ever had any plans of streaming. The answer is no for right now. This is kind of my escape from creating content, so I try to avoid making this a job, we'll call it. I do have a Twitch account. If you guys are interested, you can give it a follow. It's the same as my gamer tag in the bottom corner there, Savage X Savannah. And yeah, you guys were also asking if I would play with any fans. The answer is heck yeah. Let's play some Warzone. On Saturday, I'll try to get a lobby going and we'll have some of you guys join up and let's run some quads. Thank you to everybody that dropped a question in my story or on the last post. If I didn't get to your question, please don't be offended. We're gonna do this again soon, so make sure you guys hold on to those questions for next time, and thanks for watching.